Sup guys, y'all are about to listen to episode 1 of Outta Sector with me, Patty Harris, and our first guest is Katelyn Fairchild, who is currently a junior at Texas A&M throwing the javelin, and she's from a small town in Kansas, and I've known her since I was a junior in high school. I think we talk about that later, but we're going to talk about all things javelin, how we got into it, just switching from the dynamic of throwing in high school to throwing in college, and then just seeing your goals change and how you adapt to that. And yeah, I think it's a really fun conversation, and I hope you guys like it. First question I want to ask you is, when did you get into sports and how did that really start?
Into sports? Let's see.
Yeah.
I'd say I started playing volleyball and basketball and softball when I was maybe 7 or 8, maybe. I never did the fun ball. Kinsey got to play fun ball basketball. I never got to do that. She was really young. But yeah, I probably got into sports around that time. But literally all my siblings played sports above me, so it was we were always doing something, whether it was organized or not. So definitely, having all those sports, and then obviously growing up, getting into more sports, doing all that has developed me. I never thought that I'd be doing track, which is, I know you're the same way. Never thought I'd be doing track. What? I think about it and I'm what am I, I literally am throwing a stick. That's my sport.
Yeah.
But God bless the stick.
Right. And everyone's
literally.
So how'd you get into that? Have you been doing that forever? And you're no.
I actually didn't even, yeah, I didn't even actually even really like it until a couple years ago, but it's fine.
I was always yeah, I didn't really even care until my senior year.
No, I know, I literally because I was playing volleyball, basketball, and track in high school, and so I never even thought about track until it was track season, and even then it was just oh yeah, let's go do this.
Dude,
same. Yeah.
I remember my junior year we got a new throws coach, and I was yeah, I have softball practice on these days, so I'm gonna have to cut out of here a little early. And he was all giving me a hard time, and then fast forward a year later, I'm oh yeah, I'm going to college for track.
Surprise, shoddy.
Oh, wow, the turntables. Okay, so you have older siblings. How do you think even just Mason going to college and playing football, how do you think that helped you determine where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do?
Well, literally because I'm one of 7 for those that don't know, and I'm the 6th, so everybody in front of me played sports. And so growing up, like I said, whether it was organized or not, we were always competing, and just growing up in a competitive household. And then I just always would get excited going to see their high school games or their college games, and it was always just such a good environment that I wanted to be in. And then it was also kind of just you had to do it. That was kind of the legacy. It was oh, you're not going to play sports and you're a Fairchild, what are you doing? So they all went to Kansas though, and that was kind of something that I was I want to do different. I don't want to go to some school in Kansas. I kind of want to explore and do something else. Not that and no shade on Kansas, but I'm just there's so much more. So definitely shaped me to go out and do stuff and be competitive and whatnot. But yeah, that definitely helps having lots of athletes in your family. Literally, I have scars from playing sports. Just so much, such a competitive environment, but literally has made me the person that I am. So God bless.
Right. And so your high school, for people that don't know, is in the middle of nowhere, basically outside of Wichita.
Yeah.
And it's not a big school, it's
medium-sized Kansas school, but like Andale High School is known for like being good at sports. Like, can
Mhm.
you like talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, like growing up, it was always because especially because like my dad's a coach on the football team, and then like all my brothers were playing football and basketball and all this stuff. And it's like you grow up and you're like, wow, like this is like special. Like you learn that from a young age. And then you get to high school and it's kind of like the real deal. And honestly, like I obviously can't compare my high school to anybody else's because like I haven't been to their high school, but I can tell you like it's just different. Like we were lifted, like the way that we lifted, the way that we like approached sports and the way that we had like really good coaches. It was all just so different and like honestly so organized and like impactful. Like I was lifting weights like 5 days a week, but it wasn't just like your average like, oh, let's go lift weights in high school. It was like no, like we had a plan, and like kudos to like my coaches there because like they had it figured out and they still do, and like they're pushing us as hard as they can, and so like just developing like that, like it was crazy, and as well as the sports, like I every single sport that I played, like the coaches knew what they were doing and like they had such a passion for it, and it just kind of fueled you. So literally like such a big like one of the biggest blessings I think was coming out of Andale and growing up in that environment. Like I honestly can't imagine having it any other way. And I kind of love like, oh, like you go to Andale or like showing up in Andale and everybody's like, oh, Andale's here. Like, so like you said, like, yeah, it's not a big school at all. Like I graduated with about 90 kids. There's less than 400 in our school, but it's like everybody wants to do good and everybody kind of has the same passion and like desire to like push themselves. So I think that's what kind of really makes us special. And um, I think it'll continue that way for a long time just because of the community too and like all the coaches and everything.
Do you think that like it helped you be more competitive when there are multiple people like in your class like pursuing Division 1
Mm.
sports in like different sports? Because I know like because I come from the softball background, there's a whole bunch of girls that play like Power 5 softball now, like
Hmm.
Stanford and all the way. Yeah.
No, for sure. And like, especially coming in as a freshman and um, already kind of being at that varsity level. Uh, and then it was like, I was the little dog. So it was like, I wanted it more because everybody else was older than me. And like, I just wanted to show them like what I could do and I wanted to help them. So definitely shaped me in that way. Like, I had that competitive drive. And then like, even um, the fact that most of my coaches literally like played Division 1 sports or like my volleyball coach for example, she played Division 1 volleyball and she threw javelin in college at Minnesota. So like just so many different backgrounds, and then like my track, my actual throws coach, like he was a collegiate thrower at WSU. Like just so many like different backgrounds, and it's like they have all these stories and like that they have all this knowledge, and so it just definitely like yeah accelerates your competitive drive. And like I always was just trying to kick everybody's butt, and I'd say it went pretty well. I'm gonna lie.
Do you think that helped you with the transition to college in your freshman year? Because I remember like my freshman year, my throws class of freshmen, we
Mm-hmm.
had people that graduated with literally like 10 people. And then like me and a kid from Omaha that graduated with like 600 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that transition being different for every single one of us.
Yeah.
And uh, do you think that helped you, like having that drive already and like having to compete your freshman year in high school?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Which it's crazy because like going from like literally one of the small like such a small school to Texas A&M where there's like 70,000 students. Not that they're all athletes, but like just having that drive and like I was still like yeah like I came out. You come from being like the big dog and see like a senior in high school like oh like I did all this, and then it's like you come to college, nobody really knows what you did in high school, nor do they really care because like it's college now. So
Right.
and then like obviously like having that competition, like we had that freshman season, and like you have what it takes to like get it done and like throw better than some of the girls that are a lot older than you, but it's like you still you're a freshman, but it's like no, like that competitive drive definitely. I was like I don't care who you are, like how old you are, like this is I'm just want to see what I can do type thing. But and then definitely like the transition was interesting too because then I had like Leanna who's from like Australia, and like we just had such different like perspectives on everything, and like just everybody did like. And so also kind of I guess in high school too, like track for example, like everybody just kind of did it as like a off season, like and here it's like everybody that does it is like literally doing it because like they're so good at it. Like they were the big fish in the pond, like all of us were. And so it was definitely interesting to just kind of come into that environment. And it's like, oh, like you're not just like the big dog. Cause like on my track team, it was like, oh, like Katelyn's really good, now everybody's good. So I definitely think that helps a lot.
Yeah. What do you think like the biggest like shock was your freshman year stepping on campus?
Honestly, dude, like this place is huge, humongous. Like I don't know if you remember when you're like, again, like my community was so small, and then like Texas A&M is massive. Um, so in that way, like size wise, that was that. But like the biggest shock probably from like high school to college academically would be like, oh, you actually need to like study. You need to do all this stuff. And it's like you need to care, like you need to all this stuff. And then like athletically, just also the same thing, like you're on a campus where like every sport, everybody was good, like just that kind of thing. And I don't even know. It just I freshman year was a whirlwind. It feels like it was yesterday, but it also feels like it was like 5 years at the same time, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I mean?
remember
Like,
my yeah, no. I remember my freshman year just like figuring out that like maybe even like the people in your dorm room have
yeah,
different goals than you and like trying to like I don't even know, like juggle that. Like you like really take this seriously, and I don't know.
yeah.
Texas A&M might be a little bit different because my freshman year in Nebraska, the team wasn't as competitive as it is now, and
Hmm.
Texas A&M is kind of known as like a powerhouse. But I had
Hmm.
roommates that were like kind of just like, or even just like people in my class that were just kind of like happy to be there, you know.
Yeah,
And it was like, okay, but like I'm taking this really seriously, you know, like
yeah. And you can definitely like, not that like obviously everybody that does sports in college, like they have a different mindset than other athletes, but then it's like even beyond that, you can tell the differences between like the people that want to do it after and then the people that are like, yeah, like, oh, I get these 4 years to compete for this school, like I'm gonna take that advantage. Where it's like the people that are like, oh, I want to do this after, you can just kind of tell like the different kind of mindset, which I think is cool, but also like something that you don't ever really think about until you are in college and you're like, oh, I only have these 4 years. Like for us, it's like they're like, these are going to be like the best 4 years. And we're like, okay, like we're trying to get through these years and then we're trying to do more. Like, so that's going to be like, that's interesting even to like think about now. Like, I'm like, holy crap. Like, I'm not like, and like for you, even like you're almost done. Like, I'm almost done. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm just like, what am I going to do? I don't
right.
know. I'm not ready.
And it's crazy to think that we met like however many years ago. I
Bro,
don't
I was
like
literally thinking,
2019. Like I knew you before. Okay, so me and Katelyn met at New Balance Nationals,
no,
like
bro, didn't we meet at
officially.
KU?
Yes, but like I feel like we didn't become like friends
Okay, fair,
until
fair,
New
fair,
Balance.
fair.
So I knew who Katelyn was because I'm from Missouri and we would go to KU relays and Katelyn's from Kansas, so they would go. And she's 2 years younger than me, which I didn't really realize until her birthday. I like always forget. I think that we're like 1 year apart, but no,
I
we're
know.
2 years apart. And I had known who Katelyn was just because we competed against each other, I guess like once or twice
Yeah.
before. And she was good. I was like, this girl's good, and she's from like the middle of nowhere. And like, how does she know how to throw javelin? Because I had no idea how to. So we're in North Carolina at New Balance Nationals in 2019, and I'm like, I need somebody to talk to. I
You
was
look
like,
familiar.
we gotta wait till the third flight. What's up? That
That's
was
like,
like the longest like waiting I feel like for me
I
since
know.
like regionals probably. But like
Mm,
at regionals you're not like there the whole time. But we were
yeah,
just like sitting in that tent. It felt like forever.
I know. Bro, like that's crazy. Like I hardly even remember. Like I hardly remember New Balance Nationals. Like that was so long ago. We were so little. And
Right?
like we literally just clicked that. We were just like, which honestly, that's like the great thing about the javelin female community. Like I don't know how the males are. Like I don't know about you, but I think like the javelin girls are great. Like it's
Yeah,
so easy to click with every single one of them. Like at nationals, like we and like in regionals, all that stuff. Like we all like want each other to do well. Like it's like yeah, we're
right.
competing at each other at the end of the day, but it's like we all care for each other, and we're like, oh, like I want to see you at your best, you know? And like we also want them to bring that because like you at your best makes me at my best. So it's like, you know, I think it's awesome. Like our javelin community, like so the fact that like we started that relationship off early obviously helped because then it's like now we're at meets and we're besties. Like but
Right.
like even coming up, like we're like newer girls that we meet, like I feel like we click really easily with them. So I think that's awesome.
Right. And like about like seeing each other at meets, I always say
Mhm.
like I love when Texas A&M's at a meet that we're gonna be at because not only like do like I love you as like my friend and stuff, but
Yeah.
I love competing against you because like I know you're gonna bring your best, so I'm
Hmm.
gonna bring my best, and it's just gonna like make us better and make us
Right.
so farther. Um, and I
And there's
really
like
like
no hate.
right,
Like it's not
like
like, oh, she beat me. Like, God, she beat me. It's like, good throw, Maddie, good throw. And like we're
no,
hyping each other up before the throw.
like literally your throw at nationals this year
Yeah.
in the video, like I'm in the background like let's go, and you like literally beat me. like like I
Yeah,
don't
you
even
literally
think I realized it. I don't even think I realized it at the time, but I was like, oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah, I do like think that made the transition from like
Mm,
going to a team sport to an individual sport kind of like fun
yeah.
to like find these new friends, and like
Hmm.
even if we're like long distance friends, like it's fun.
Yeah. And it's like, for those that don't know, like me and Maddie comes out of my house all the time. Like we have a blast.
It's only 4 hours away. It's
Yeah,
good.
like it's really not that far.
No, it is a straight shot. It just might be one of the most
Literally.
boring drives ever. Because I'm in Nebraska right now, and Wichita is like 4 hours straight south. And when I was driving back from Katelyn's house the last time I went there, I almost like peed my pants. Like, because there was no gas station for the first like hour of the drive. It felt like I was like, I'm gonna have to like pull over and like go in a cornfield right now.
Like
Like
some
this,
of the two flattest states, and you're just right up. And it's
right,
like the highways are literally in the middle of nowhere too. So it's like you're just driving and it's like there's nothing around and you're like, yeah, this is so good. Which I think it's funny though, because it's like then you everybody's like, oh, like Kansas, like what's there to do there? Because like anybody that drives through it, they're like, all I see is nothing. And I'm like, valid, but like you gotta dive into the heart a little bit and you'll find some good gold.
right.
I'm
One of
sure
my
Nebraska is the same way.
yeah, one of my
Yeah.
teammates is from a small town in Kansas. Well, she graduated last year. And I remember one of the first times I went to visit her, and it just seemed like it was like, yeah, they went to my school 6 years
Yeah.
ago, but like we know them. I played basketball with their cousin or something. And like everyone is like almost related, but not.
That's like the
And
joke
like,
though.
no, for real. And then after after your sister Mackenzie's grad party, I figured out that like these people were your cousins.
Yeah.
Like I remember going on Facebook and being like, "Oh, you're related to these people."
Literally. And it's cool to see though, because like even my cousins, like a lot of my cousins actually pursue like track and field in college now. And so it's like
Yeah.
really cool to see because I'm like, yes, family, and like it's great. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so back up a little bit. When did you decide that you were going to go to college for javelin and not do any other sports?
So let's see. Freshman year, sophomore year, a lot of junior year of high school, I was like, I want to go play volleyball. Track was like, yeah, like I was good at it, but like I just didn't, it wasn't something that I burned for, you know. I was like, oh, like I loved playing volleyball. I love the team aspect, like all everything about it. Um, I struggled a lot with injuries in high school, like on my legs. Like I had stress reactions on both my legs. I had like fractured my foot multiple times, like stress reactions on my foot, all kinds of stuff. Like my legs were just beat to hell because like I was always landing on one foot because I played outside in volleyball, and I was always landing on my left foot. And then like to compensate the pain, I started just landing on my right foot, and then it was like double homicide. And so I was like, it was just painful, like honestly. And then I would go straight to basketball, and I remember just like crying so much because I was in so much pain. And like high school, you're like, oh, I can't stop. Like you can't stop. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to sit out and get healthy. Like you just want to keep pushing through it. So that was me. And then COVID hit junior year, which honestly was a blessing for me, like with my bodily health wise, because it allowed me to like calm down. Like it was like you literally cannot go do anything, calm down. And then I honestly like I healed a lot better. I felt good going into senior year. But then it was like over COVID, my dad built me a javelin runway in my backyard field type thing. And so then I like really just focused in on javelin. And like obviously javelin had already given me so many opportunities that it was like something that I was like, this is unlike any other sport that I'm involved in. And so then I just kind of realized like javelin will take me further and like I'll get to experience a lot more things. And like while I love volleyball and stuff, like there's a time that every sport ends. And I think that I realized that it was just time for that to end. And while like I still love it, it's like javelin has become something that I'm more like I'm passionate about and like I want to go do big things. And so I would say kind of like junior slash senior year of high school, just kind of realizing like this was probably more what God had in mind for me. And like while javelin is still like one of the hardest events on your body, like I'm not getting beat to hell like I was in volleyball and basketball. So just got a little redirected and I'm very thankful for it though. Even though like back then it was like, oh, I don't want to. And now I'm like
Yeah,
blessed. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I've only played like three sports in my life, and it's
Hmm.
softball, javelin, and lacrosse. And people are like, lacrosse, what is going on?
I didn't even know
But
that.
it was only for like 2 years, but it was so much fun. I still think it's a fun sport, but I played softball since I was like could walk.
Yeah.
And I remember like making the switch and it was like, okay, softball is limiting to the fact of how good my team is
Yeah.
and like I would always get frustrated about these like small things that happened in a game that were completely out of my
Hmm.
control. And
Yeah.
after some personality tests, I realized that my biggest weakness is a lack of control. Um,
Wikipedia told me that.
yeah, I did that like 16 personalities thing, and it was like likes control, like gets anxious when like
That's funny. Real
in an
though.
airplane or something. But I remember being like, okay, javelin's all on me. Like if I do
Yeah.
bad, like it's up to me. I can like self
Mhm.
reflect and figure out like what went wrong. And even at like
Yeah.
when I picked javelin, I didn't think that I'd be like traveling the world,
Yeah.
like going to different countries and stuff. But here we are. I just was
No
like,
kidding.
oh, I can like go to nationals and like become an all American and
Hmm.
um where have you gone for javelin? Like where have you gone?
Let's see. So all over the US, like honestly, I couldn't even like say I couldn't even tell you all the states that I've been to as a
Right.
javelin, which is like so cool. Um, Outside of the US, I went to Germany when I was a sophomore in high school with my USA Javelin project thing. And that was so cool. We got to train in Jena with Thomas Roller. And that was like, I never thought I would be going like again, another thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm literally in another country. I never would have thought like a couple years ago that I was gonna do that. I went to Lithuania this summer, which was so good, and I trained there. It was literally such a good time. Let's see. I guess out of the countries too. I went to the Bahamas last year for spring break. Whoop. We're going to Puerto
Yeah,
Rico this season for spring break, and we're gonna throw there, so
that
that'll
is
be interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, but like I would say just Germany and Lithuania are like the two really big ones. Um, Definitely like I've been somewhere else, but I'm like forgetting. And then yeah, just like states in the US, but it's like who would have thought that like I'd even go to have to, you know what I mean? Like I never thought
Right.
I would have gone to any of the states that I've been to. Like, especially growing up in Kansas, like everybody that grew up there kind of stays there. Not everybody, but like a lot of it. So that it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's like all my family did that. So it's like that's what I'm gonna do. But then it's like, oh, hello, like let's go. But it's so cool because like I even like talked to my grandpa about it and he's just like dumbfounded by it. And he's like, take lots of pictures. I'm like, it almost makes me sad because I'm like, I wish everybody could have that experience. And like
Right.
I think we definitely take it for granted. You know what I mean? Like we'll have the times that we're like we think about how grateful we are, but then it's like we don't even really realize how grateful we are. Like this is crazy.
Right. Like this summer, whenever I went to Austria, just remember
Hmm.
being like stressed out the whole time. And I barely have any pictures from my 2 days in Austria because I was only there for a couple hours. But people are like, yeah, it's so awesome. Like, you
I
went to
know.
Europe. And I'm like, I don't even like remember it. Like, I blacked it out in my brain. There was corn on my pizza. I was confused.
Not the
But,
corn.
um, so can you kind of talk about the USA Javelin project? Because I don't really even know a lot about it, but I
Yeah.
remember you being a part of it and
Yeah.
Kinsey and other people that I know
So
now.
yeah, it was called Project Javelin Gold, and it's no longer a thing if I'm right. I don't think it's a thing anymore. But when I was in high school, like again, this is freshman year, and like I just started javelin freshman year. Like that was, and it was not even something that I loved. Like I was just like, oh yeah. Honestly, I was pretty bad at it, and then like just all of a sudden got kind of good at it. And then we got contacted by like James Spears and like all these like people, and like I was like, this is fake, like this isn't real. Like they just kind of said like they wanted me to be on this thing because they choose like 4 girls and 4 guys like throughout the US. And then they kind of like would fly us out to different states and stuff. And from Germany, for example, that was like one of the places we went with them. And like they would just bring us in, like we would train with like Tom Putskis, like Rob Woozler, like Barry Kramus, like all these people that like were past javelin throwers. And also just kind of gave me like a new love for the sport, just being around all these people that have like been in my shoes and like they've done it, and like they aren't selfish because they want all these kids to do well. And it's not like they're like, oh, I threw this and like I don't want to share my knowledge. It's like no, like they genuinely want to share what they have. They want everybody to do well. And so all throughout high school I was in that. And then yeah, like as soon as Kinsey got to high school, she started doing well. They put her in it as well because we had graduated one of the girls. And so, you know, actually, I don't think we were ever in it at the same time. I don't think we were in it at the same time because I think after my year, because we had 4 girls my age, and then we all graduated high school. Because once you're out of high school, you're like graduated or whatever. And then Kinsey got put in it, and she got to kind of experience it. She didn't get to go to Germany or anything. We were supposed to go to Finland, but then COVID hit, which is ooh, sucks. But that was definitely like one of the biggest things that obviously like got me to where I am. And like even now I still kind of touch up with them. Like I was just in Louisiana with them a couple weekends ago, literally last weekend. So, or 2 weekends ago, yeah. It's literally just like such a biggest, but like one of the biggest blessings. And even just kind of back on like the being grateful thing, like I was literally just sitting there listening to, like it was like night and we were just kind of hanging out, and it was like Tom Butzkis and Raymond Hecht, who's German, if for people who don't know. And they're just like sitting there like bantering off about like javelin, and like I'm just sitting there like just listening, and like the rest of the kids like were kids and adults are like playing like a card game and stuff. They're like, do you want to come play? And I was like, I'm just gonna sit here for a minute. Like I'm just gonna like just listen, because it was just so interesting. And like as I was sitting there, I'm just like, wow, like this is my life. Like this is crazy. So
Right.
yeah.
It's crazy how like just like sitting there and like listening to two people talk can be like beneficial for
Yeah.
you in like your throwing career. Because I remember whenever Justin, my coach down at Nebraska, came in that first like travel season together, I just
Mm-hmm.
like wanted to figure out what he knew, like
Uh-huh.
he was a javelin thrower, so he got to compete all around the world with these people, and
Yeah.
he'd been a throws coach for like decades. So I was like, okay, I want to
Like
absorb like everything,
literally, like they have so much knowledge and we don't even realize it. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like I just have this encyclopedia right here.
Like hello? Can
Like
you
tell
tell
me
me
a
some?
story.
Give me a little bit.
Right. There was one meet where we were sitting, like me and a few of the other javelin throwers were sitting in the lobby talking to our coach for literally hours. And it was just like one of those moments that's like, wow, like this is what I do.
And then you like realize how badass they are. Like you're like, you just see him, you're like, hey coach, but then you're like, holy this guy's like a badass. Like what?
Right.
And
Because
like he's what?
like your college coach is an Olympian,
Yeah, he's a
and
badass too.
he's coached like Olympians in the
Mm-hmm.
javelin, and he's kind of known like all around the world probably
Mm-hmm.
for javelin, like
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
It is crazy. It's like you got this legend in front of you, and like that's what I definitely like high school kids don't realize either. It's like
Yeah.
because like even going back to like this clinic that I was at in Baton Rouge in Louisiana a couple weeks ago, like there was high school kids and like younger kids there, and like I was helping kind of coach them too. But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I wonder if they even realize like who is in front of them right now, like all of the people that are currently throwing, and then like all of these legends, and it's like, do they actually like they don't because when I was in their shoes, I wasn't grasping like who was in front of me. I'm just listening to directions, like, and so I'm just sitting there. I'm like, these kids don't even understand like the sh- the people around us right now. But I'm like,
Right.
valid because neither did I. So
Right.
whatever.
My first like javelin camp experience was, I think that's same summer, like 2019. Maybe it was 2018. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, but it was like a Brittany Borman camp in like BFE, Missouri, like in the St. Louis area. And it was forever. I feel like it was like 4 or 5 hours of javelin.
Yeah.
And it was like hot in the middle of the summer. But I was like, this girl's an Olympian.
Yeah. It's like
And like, you're teaching me javelin. me
literally.
and me and like 30 other kids, and I know nothing about this, you
Uh-huh.
know?
But you know everything,
Yeah,
literally.
it's like, oh my God. And even like this year was kind of my first experience being on like the other end of the
Hmm.
fence. Basically, like in the summer, we had like a Husker Stars camp that I helped at. And
Hmm.
then after USA's, I helped at a camp in Kansas City, and Curtis was there too.
Yeah,
So that was just kind of like a full circle moment. Like,
exactly,
okay,
dude.
now I'm helping these high schoolers that don't know anything but are here like spending their Saturday with me. Like,
Yeah. And like, no, like when we were at this clinic, like Becca Wales, for example, like me and her are such good friends now, but like years ago when she was coaching me and I was looking up to her and like I didn't realize that we were gonna become like such good friends when I was older and like now we're basically competing against each other. You know what I mean? Like it is
yeah,
just full circle and like all these people like Curtis and all of them, like they're all coaching, like they were coaching when I was there in high school and now like I'm helping and it's like crazy to be I'm like this feels wrong. Like I don't think that I should be coaching with you guys, like still train me still. Like what is happening? And so like then like they mentioned like some of these high school girls that you're training now, like it's gonna be the same situation, you know, like it's gonna be full circle for them. And I'm like, oh, that's so scary. But it's just crazy. It's like all full circle and it's just like, whoa.
okay. So what's a piece of advice that you would tell a high schooler, or maybe just like an incoming freshman, on like if they really have these like high goals, like how to achieve them and stuff?
Yeah. Um, like in any sport that you play, just like I think you have to just believe in yourself. Like honestly, it doesn't matter who like who's in front of you. Like let's say like you have a bad environment or you have a bad coach or whatever it is, like at the end of the day, like you are your best advocate and like you can work like they can't make you work harder. They can't limit your work. Like you can you can control how hard you're working. And I would just say like give it all. Like if you're gonna do something, like put it all in because you don't want to get at the end of it and be like, oh, I could have given more and all this stuff. And like yeah, just really like find your people, like find your community, whether it's like your javelin community, like we have each other to lean on. And I think it's like awesome when you have all these people that are from different backgrounds and it's like, but we all share similar experiences and like you can relate to them and like at the end of the day, like you can be each other's help and all this stuff. So I would just say like trust yourself and find your community. Like just, put it all out there, put it all on the line.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so some rapid fire questions kind of
All right.
to end it. Are you more of a planning or reflecting person? Like, you think ahead, or do you like to think about the past? Like,
I would say I'm a reflecting person, but I'm trying to be more of a planning person. Like I'm trying to be like, but then it's like life just change. Like life is so unpredictable, so it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. And like recently, I've just been more like it's not my plan, it's God's plan. So it's like
right?
I don't want to plan something, and it's like, oh, that's out the window. Like So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say reflecting.
Okay. That's interesting because I'm quite the opposite as the
Yeah.
conversation we were having right before we started recording.
And literally though,
uh,
I was like, yeah, I'm not even looking at that stuff. And you're like writing it all down. I'm like, I'm not even thinking about it.
I'm like numbers.
Yeah. I'm like,
Okay. Um, do you like to have a routine or do you like to wing it?
I like to have a routine for sure. I like to like wake up, but a lot of times, like, again, life happens and you get out of routine, but I definitely don't feel right when I'm not doing something like a certain way. Like I like to wake up at the
Right.
same time, do the same thing in the morning, all this stuff. Routine.
Okay. What is your like favorite pre-meet meal, whether that's like the night before or like if you're throwing later that like
Uh-huh.
lunch?
I like to have some kind of chicken. I love chicken. I love me some chicken. Just some kind of, but any meat really in general. Like I like to have a protein meal. And then like if it's a night meat, I like to eat something kind of like light but fulfilling. Like again, something with chicken, like whether it's like a rice bowl or like something like that. Just something like meaty where I'm like, I'm not gonna feel zonked when I'm throwing.
Right. Chicken.
What's yours? What's yours? What's yours?
Okay. So the night before, I love Chipotle, but
Chipotle.
I've realized that the corn salsa is not my friend. Corn is not my friend, even though I'm a corn husker. Just messes me up. So I've been having to order it without the corn salsa, which is depressing because that is so good. But on like lunch, but like if it's lunch and we're throwing later, a sandwich
Yeah.
gotta be a sandwich because I have a really hard time eating if we throw it like noon or like
Yeah.
1. Like
No, I agree.
breakfast is like impossible to eat. I'll eat like a slice of bread and some peanut butter, you know?
Especially, yeah, when you're at hotels and it's like, I don't want to eat this. No,
Yeah,
I
like
agree
you
because
don't
I struggle too.
like I
I'm
don't
like,
want to eat the weird eggs that like
no, I
come
don't
out
go
of
for the eggs. I do not go for
right.
the eggs.
I'm
And
like
then it's
two
like,
slices of bacon.
right? And then it's like, what's, and then I'll have like a little yogurt cup and maybe like a banana. And it's like, but like here when I'm home, I have like a gourmet breakfast every day. And then it's like,
Right.
I go to have that and I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm always like, okay, what can I bring in my suitcase? I usually like
Yeah,
bring a bag of granola because I can like munch on that
that's
and
fair.
like
I need to
it
get
doesn't
better at
hurt.
like bringing things.
Yeah, I've been
That's my
listening to
goal.
like a lot of other like athletes talking about like what they bring in their suitcase for these like
Yeah.
international meets. Because when I was in Chile, I was like, there's no sweet food here. I was like, I need sweet treat.
I need that sweet tree. How am I gonna function?
Right. Okay. Now to sweet treats. What's your favorite? Like, if you need a snack in the middle of a competition or in the middle
Oh,
of a throwing section, what is it?
so you know this. I don't really ever bring like sweets, but Leanna does, or you do, and it's usually like the gummy clusters or something like that. So I'm such a mooch when it comes to that stuff. I'm like, hey, yo, give me that. So like definitely some little gummy cluster nerds if y'all got them. Literally whatever y'all got, I'm eating. But at practice, I like to have pretzels. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. Like maybe it's because I'm sweating and I need some more salt. I just like pretzels and they're just crunchy.
Yeah. I always am packing those applesauce squeezes
Oh yeah, I don't
because
like those.
well, because I feel like I like have had such a long time where I haven't ate and then I feel better. Like I get so nervous and then I feel better as soon as we start throwing. So I'm like, I need some quick carbs right here, you know?
I need to like start forcing myself to like those.
Yeah, I go through like ebbs and flows on those. Sometimes I
Mm.
hate them and other times they're my favorite thing in the world. Um
Literally.
and also right now the Chex Mix pack we have these like little Chex Mix packages and I've been like yes, those. I've been snacking on
I
those like
love Chex Mix, bro.
right after throwing or like right before. Um what's your like pre-meet like warm up routine?
Um, so let's see. If we're at like, I'm gonna start like literally wake up, go get breakfast. Me and Lana are usually roommates, and we're always getting ready, like jamming out. We like to go get coffee in the morning, like iced coffee. if we're like somewhere near a place that you can go walk and get it. And then we always like have our energy drinks because like we just it's literally a placebo effect, I think. Like I don't even think it actually gives me energy. I'm just like, oh yeah. And so we have our energy drinks sitting in the fridge. We're jamming, we're getting ready. A lot of times we want to make TikToks, which is kind of dumb, but they're fun to make and then just gets you like kind of like your focus off the competition to where it's like, yeah, you need to be focused on it when you're there, but it's like, why stress about it? You know what I mean? Until you're. So get our mind off it and then just go through the warm up. I like to be really warm. Like I like to be sweating, like dripping. Cause like otherwise I'm like, no. Cause then especially with jam, like you have to sit a bit. So it's like whatever. So some bands and balls, some regular like warm up stuff. And then chit chat. I like to yap. That's my pre-work. That's my pre-meet. And
I
then
like to,
we
yeah.
chuck some spears. Professional
Right.
yapper.
What is your go-to like pre-meet music? Like what type of music are you listening to?
Like, okay, I don't know, white girl music. Like, give me some like TGIF, like last Friday night. Literally just like, but like literally it'll be so different. It'll be like some rap, and then it's like, oh, doses and mimosas, woo! Like literally so random.
Oh my
I can
gosh.
listen to anything though, but yeah, that's the main things that I'm going
I
on
always
there.
get like I like to do Just Dance if I'm in the
Mm.
hotel room. Just like the YouTube like versions
Dude,
and like
me and my
just
roommates
like
literally do that.
get the nerves out.
Yeah,
And people are always like, "You danced before?" I'm like, "Yeah."
it
But then like
helps.
right before the competition, I listen to a lot of like slow country music, and people make fun of me for this because it'll be like depressing country music, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm in the zone right now,
No,
you
because
know?
I could do that too. Like I love sad music. Like I don't even have to be sad, but I'm just like, yes, it just like fuels me. Like I'm like, oh, my heart is beating faster type thing.
This damn song, by Picos
Yeah.
and the Rooftop. I was
Yeah.
I was doing cardio the other day, and I finished on that song, and I swear I was just like let's go. Like I feel the pain, even though no one has done
Literally.
anything to hurt me.
Literally, that's how it goes.
Okay. Is there anything like a specific ritual that you have to do before me?
Honestly, no.
That's good.
I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. Is there one for you?
No, not really.
Okay.
I just
Because I'm like,
some people like have like a thing that they like have to do, and I
the
feel like
socks.
yeah, like every meet I feel like it's different for me. I will say
Yeah.
I do my hair like 10 different times before the meet, and then I show up in
Take it
like
out.
like a braided ponytail.
Dude, that stresses me out sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like I can't, but
I'm like, it's really not that deep.
yeah, I'm just showing up and doing my thing here.
Like I'm gonna be sweating gross in like 5 minutes anyway.
Right. Well, it was amazing to talk to you and catch up a little bit.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the first episode of this.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited for you to have it out and
Right.
find out the name.